need to ensure that multiple actions are successfully performed on the database. In order to maintain the consistency of the data, then those actions should be grouped together as a transaction. Transactions create a wrapper that surrounds a bunch of commands that you send to the database server. This wrapper allows you to treat the entire bunch as a single unit of work, and you can choose to finalize or undo the entire transaction at once. This allows you to perform multi-step processes without having to worry about the data being in an inconsistent state. To illustrate what I mean, let's take a look at an example. Suppose we have two bank accounts, a checking account with £500 in it and a savings account that has zero balance. If we want to transfer £200 from checking to savings, that requires two separate operations in the database. First, you need to deduct £200 from the checking balance. Then we need to add £200 to the savings balance. If everything finishes successfully, we should have 200 in checking and 200 in savings at the end of the process. But we all know that procedures don't always complete as expected. Network errors might interrupt the process, a fire might break out in your server room, a memory module may suddenly become corrupt. Any number of things may happen during the process that causes one activity to finish successfully but causes the other one to fail. And if that happens, then the data would be left in an inconsistent state. For instance, if the deduction from checking happens but the addition to savings did not, the total across both accounts would be £200 short. Or the other way around, if the addition to savings was successful but the deduction from checking was interrupted, then £200 would seem to have appeared out of thin air. Obviously, neither outcome is acceptable. The solution to this problem is to wrap both processes, the deduction from checking and the addition to savings, as a single transaction. When combined together as a transaction, the server can better control the outcome. As a single unit of work, both actions must complete successfully in order to transfer money from one account to the other. When a transaction completes successfully, it's called a commit. Any new values are permanently written to disk. But if any portion of the transaction fails, then both statements are undone and account balances are reverted back to their initial state. This process of undoing all of the actions performed within the transaction is called a rollback. So wrapping a bunch of related commands in a transaction helps ensure that the state of the data remains consistent and trustworthy whenever you are creating new rows, deleting rows, or modifying existing rows in your data tables.